I still remember the sound of the screen door, the way it creaked when she left that night.
I still
15
remember.
years. That's how long my sister Grace had been gone. No calls, no letters, just silence. The kind of silence that eats a family alive from the inside. 15 birthdays with an empty chair at the table. 15 Christmases where my mother set out one less plate, then quietly put it away before anyone could ask why. We didn't talk about Grace. Not really. Her name became something we tiptoed around, like a crack in the floor nobody wanted to step on. I was 22 when she disappeared. She was 17. One morning she was there, eating cereal at our kitchen table, and by that evening she was just gone. My mother told the neighbors Grace had run off with some boy. She told the relatives Grace was troubled. She told me to stop asking questions, and for 15 years I did. You have to understand something about my family. We were the kind of family everyone in town admired. My father was respected. My mother kept a spotless house and an even more spotless reputation. And Grace was the wild one. Or that's what I was told to believe. Our house sat on Maple Street, the kind of street where neighbors waved from porches and nobody locked their doors. On the surface, we were the family other families measured themselves against. Underneath was a different story entirely. I just didn't know that yet. The truth is, I never stopped looking for her. Not really. I checked old social media profiles that hadn't been updated in a decade. I asked mutual friends if they'd heard anything. Nothing. It was like she'd fallen off the edge of the earth. Then, 3 weeks ago, there was a knock on my door. I opened it and my whole body went cold. Standing there, thinner, older, with the same green eyes our father had, Grace. "Hi, Claire," she said. Just like that, like 15 years hadn't happened. Like she hadn't ripped a hole in this family and left the rest of us to patch it with lies. I didn't hug her. I didn't scream. I just stood in the doorway and asked the only question that mattered. "Why did you leave?" She didn't answer. Not that day. She came back into our lives slowly, carefully, like someone testing ice on a frozen lake. She started with small things. A coffee here, a phone call there. My mother refused to see her at first. My mother, who had spent 15 years telling everyone that Grace abandoned us, suddenly couldn't be in the same room as her. That should have told me something. But I was too relieved to notice. My brother Daniel wasn't ready to forgive so easily either. He'd built his own version of Grace in his head. Selfish, careless, gone by choice. When she showed up at his door with a small gift for his daughter, he didn't even open it. He just said, 15 years, Grace, 15 years, and shut the door softly, which somehow hurt worse than if he'd slammed it. For weeks, all I felt was anger. Anger that she left. Anger that she let me believe, for 15 years, that our family simply wasn't enough for her. I said things I'm not proud of. I told her she didn't get to just walk back into our lives like nothing happened. She took it. She never once raised her voice back at me. And that's when I started to wonder, what if the story I'd been told wasn't the whole story? The first crack came from an old photograph. I found it while cleaning out the attic. Grace, 17, standing beside our family doctor, Dr. Whitfield, at some town event. She looked terrified in that photo. Not happy, not the reckless teenager everyone described. Terrified. I asked my mother about it. She snatched the photo out of my hand so fast I nearly cut myself on the frame. "That doesn't matter anymore," she said. Her voice was shaking. It mattered to me, so I went to Grace. I sat her down and I told her I wasn't leaving until she told me the truth. And for the first time in 15 years, she did. She told me that summer before she disappeared, something happened with Dr. Whitfield, the man our whole town trusted, the man who had once saved our father's life during a heart attack. She was 17. He was 43. What happened wasn't a scandal she chose. It was something done to her. And when she found out she was pregnant, she went to the only person she thought would protect her. Our mother. Our mother didn't protect her. Our mother protected the family name. Grace's voice cracked as she told me the rest. Our mother arranged everything in secret in less than a week. A boarding school story for the neighbors. A car to a relative 3 states away. Grace was 17, pregnant, and terrified, and she was put on a bus before she even understood what was happening to her own life. She wasn't running away. She was sent away. I sat there in my sister's kitchen, and I felt the ground shift under everything I thought I knew. 15 years of resentment, built on a lie my own mother constructed to protect a man's reputation and her own social standing. I confronted my mother that same night. I didn't yell. I didn't need to. I just asked her calmly, "Did you send Grace away?" Her silence was the loudest answer I've ever heard. Finally, she said the words I will never forget. "I did what I had to do to protect this family, protect the family. Not protect her daughter, protect the family, as if Grace wasn't part of it." I asked about the baby. My mother's face went pale. She told me the child had been placed for adoption, quietly through a private arrangement Dr. Whitfield's own family had helped organize. Grace hadn't been given a choice in that either. I asked her one more question, the hardest one. "Did Dad know?" My mother looked away, and that silence answered me before her words ever could. "Your father knew what he needed to know," she said. "Nothing more." I understood then that this wasn't one secret. It was a whole architecture of them, built quietly, room by room, for 15 years. That night, something in me broke. Not for myself, but for the 17-year-old girl who sat alone on a bus, sent away by the one person who was supposed to protect her. I kept thinking about how alone she must have felt. 17, pregnant, terrified, and utterly alone, because the one person who should have stood between her and the world instead stood between her and US. I went back to Grace's apartment. I didn't say anything at first. I just held her the way I should have held her 15 years ago. She cried into my shoulder like the years hadn't erased a single ounce of that pain. "I thought you'd hate me," she whispered. "Everyone thought I just left." "You didn't leave," I told her. "You were taken from us." The weeks after that were hard. My mother refused to apologize, not really. She offered excuses dressed up as apologies. "You don't understand what those days were like," she said. "People talked. But some things don't have a good enough reason. Some silences aren't forgivable just because they're explained." Daniel came around slower than I did. It took him seeing Grace cry, really cry, not performing it, just breaking quietly at our kitchen table, before something in him softened. He didn't say sorry either. He just sat down next to her and poured her a cup of coffee. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't arrive with words. Sometimes it just sits down beside you. Grace and I started rebuilding, slowly. Sunday dinners, long drives where we didn't talk about anything at all. Small moments where 15 years of distance started to feel a little smaller. My mother and Grace are still not what I'd call close. Some wounds don't heal just because the truth finally comes out. My mother still calls it a difficult chapter. Never a mistake. Never something I did. Maybe that's its own kind of answer. But Grace and I talk every single day now, and for the first time since I was 22 years old, my sister isn't a mystery to me anymore. She's just my sister. Home. Finally. Home. Not the mystery I built her into for 15 years. Just Grace, sitting across from me at a kitchen table, laughing at something small, like the last decade and a half never had to happen at all. If you were in my place, would you have forgiven the family member who kept the secret, or would some silences be too heavy to carry back from? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what you would have done.